Senator Lieu and the Joint Committee, thank you for having us. My name is Brian Ulaszewski. I'm the Executive Director of City Fabrick. We're a nonprofit design studio based out of Southern California. And we're here to talk about cultural districts and specifically state-designated cultural districts. Cultural districts are generally a specific geographic area in a city or town that is a concentration of cultural facilities, activities, programs, and assets. It's typically a walkable, compact area that is easily identifiable by visitor, residents, and serves as a center for cultural, artistic, and economic activity. This was from the Massachusetts Cultural District Program Guide. This is one of the states that actually have a state designated program. And characteristics of a successful cultural arts district, regardless of their designation, official or unofficial, typically have community support, a strategic partnership that involves public and private entities, as well as nonprofits and neighborhood stakeholders. That leads into inclusive strategic planning for the long-term growth and maintenance of the district. Sustainable spaces for arts, both to create arts as well as to share it. Committed to public and private investment into that community. Anchor institutions, whether museums or schools or even annual or monthly programs. Consistent quality programming, so we're not just attending our kindergartners' ballet show, but it's something that will draw people beyond the families. Arts as partners, not as just commodities. Organized recruitment for artists as well as art patrons. Accessible venues, both public and private. Geographic and historic clarity. Consistent physical planning. Both land use, mobility, housing, smart marketing and promotion, and then contributing commercial activity, restaurants, boutiques, even lodging. And California has a number of cultural arts districts with a variety of different sizes, types, and interests. These are just a few examples. Old Town Eureka focuses on the history of their community. Uptown District in downtown Oakland focuses on art creation with the very famous, well, I'd say quite famous Art Murmur Monthly Art Walk, and then the North Hollywood Arts District, which with the Academy of Television Arts and Science is very much oriented towards performing arts, with Lankershim Boulevard filled with little studios with teaching improv, drama, and dance and ballet. And I've had the opportunity to work in a number of these, including NoHo, East Village and Long Beach, and Sobeka and Costa Mesa, and very diverse capacities and interests and struggles. And the opportunity for state-designated art districts is that there's a forum for shared learning and resources to make those districts more successful. And at this point, the state-designated cultural arts districts, about a third of the states in the nation have some sort of cultural district or arts entertainment district that invites cities and towns to competitively apply for state designation of an area or areas within their jurisdiction to be qualified for various support. And they have different kinds of support based on the different states. The purpose of a cultural arts district is to encourage business and job development, much like an economic development or Main Street program in a state, addresses the diverse needs of urban and rural communities, establish tourism as a destination, and this is something very important in California to build upon, preserve cultural resources, whether they're buildings, communities, programs, specific groups, foster cultural development, and attract artists and cultural enterprises. And the role of state in these cultural arts districts is to standardize and certify these districts so that there is some consistency in the quality, how they come together, the involved parties, to facilitate local access to state agencies. There's a lot of different partners that get involved with these arts district programs, including economic development, obviously arts council commissions, tourism boards. There's an opportunity for shared knowledge through technical assistance programs, whether strategic planning, organizational development, enhanced visibility through a collective. Having a dozen different cultural arts districts as a collective presentation makes it a lot more accessible to a larger audience. Ensure equity of application, both the districts themselves, geographically and difference in size across the state, but also within those specific cultural districts that different parties are at this table. It's not one entity or another. Create a place for collaboration for these different districts to share their lessons learned, their challenges, their opportunities, their successes. And then foster a supportive climate for further growth in these in the arts. And different states have different components to their program. A few of the more popular ones are technical assistance offered to these districts, marketing, promotional support, again, having a collective brand for these cultural arts districts, signage and graphic, environmental graphics and graphic standards programs. These are some of the more popular ones, and then different states have different ones, different components around place-based grants specific to those districts, building and zoning code tolerances, and those focus more often on historic buildings, but also include conversion of spaces to live-work artist studios, which are both commercial and residential in uses, economic development, and in some cases tax incentive in a variety of forms. And this is just a matrix of 12 existing state programs. There's a few more that are emerging, and we broke it down into the, specifically the states and the program designation. The lead agency, while there's typically a lead agency, there most oftentimes a collaboration between multiple departments. There's start times and general duration of the different programs, and most oftentimes they can be renewed, and in some cases renewed based on an evaluation of the successes of their program. And then we break it down in columns based on what different components each one of them have. And where we are right now is we're looking further into these state programs and how they might apply to California, and really looking into the evaluation of these specific programs both at a state and local level, because as a lot of the new states are looking for new similar programs, they're weighing one of the more important pieces, one of the more I'd say controversial or components is the tax incentives, and being able to evaluate the financial, the economic benefit is definitely one of those questions that is asked. And so thank you very much for your time and this opportunity to share this information.
Thank you very much, Brian. Appreciate it.